Hi, what's up? This is RJ Sheetal, and guess who I have with me on the Diwali Special Collab only on Bangalore Cafe? She's a TEDx speaker, she lives a sustainable lifestyle, and she's also on this new show on Discovery Plus, which is called as The Journey of India, where she talks about how to be a green guardian of this country. By now, I'm sure you must have guessed who it is. It is none other than Vani Murthy. Hi, ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm good, Sheetal. Thank you so much for having me on this show.
Anytime. Honestly, it's an honor because I think when it comes to a sustainable lifestyle, basically doing something for this country, for the environment, the only name that comes to my mind is Worm Rani, right? I want to start off by asking, how did that name come up?
It's strange because when I joined Instagram, that's my handle, Instagram handle, Worm Rani, then there was this search for what my name should be. Okay. And I couldn't get it on Vani Murthy. So my friend suggested, since you talk a lot about worms, why not Worm Rani? And that's how it stuck.
That is amazing. I think, honestly, for the longest time, I didn't know your name was Vani Murthy. I always thought it's something Rani, so it's like Worm Rani, right? And I saw yesterday, was it yesterday, World Worm Day or something? Yes. And what is your relationship with worms? Like, how did you start this journey? When did you start this journey?
Well, in the beginning, it's trash that happened to me, understanding how our trash pollutes the environment. I went and visited a landfill along with my colleagues who are a part of a team now as WMRT, and we realized very soon that we have a responsibility to take and manage our own waste, what we generate. Our waste is our responsibility, and that's how everything fell in place. Recycling, segregation, recycling, and of course 60% of my waste is from my kitchen. And that, to convert that into compost and feed soil to grow our food became an obsession. So that's how I started to learn more about composting. I failed terribly when I did it for the first time, but then what got me going is I don't want to send my organic waste to the landfill to contribute to that mess there. So I just had to hold it back and learn how to compost, because I had a great reason why I have to compost. And it has been an amazing journey since then. I started growing food, and then I realized that edible food, if you can give it worm castings, which is the most nutritious part of the soil, then it would be great. So I started vermicomposting very early, and they've become my best friends. They give me a purpose in life. Because I grow food, I choose to eat safe food. So a lot of things have happened, and the past 15 years have been the most evolved time for me. Yeah.
Wow, 15 years into this, right? So how was your life before that 15 years journey? Where you not many people do this, right? At least as of now, people are picking it up because of the social media presence that you and a few other creatives have, right? But what was your life before all of this journey began?
Well, I've been at home, homemaker, joint family, kids, in-laws, caregiving. Basically I've been the cook and the cleaner at home, and I enjoyed that space. I'm an introvert. I have been an introvert, not no more. So it's been like I would never want to go and meet groups of people without anybody with me. I would never go alone. But everything broke free, and I explored something very new in my life when trash happened to me. And there's no stopping now. I found a new person. I'm no more the same person that I used to be.
Right? So it's like your journey is from an introvert to an extrovert now, right? And now I'm sure you're happy going and talking to people and spreading this whole message of how to make this environment a little better than it is, right? Now, in one of your posts, I read that the way to start this journey is to glorify garbage, right? If you make it look glamorous, then people will start doing this. So what is your take on that?
Absolutely, because garbage is something that is stinking, something that is end of use for us, and it has to get out of our homes. Everybody want to throw their garbage out, because that's no more useful for them. But it was always a conversation that never came to the mainstream. It was always in the backyard. It is the garbage in the backyard, trash can in the backyard. You send it away, ask your mate to take it and dispose it off in the corner of the road. You don't know whether she's pushing it into the drain or throwing it to somebody's compound. You have no idea. So, but then realizing that if we glamorized it, I think more people would look at it and want to do it. So the first team that I was a part of was in Malleshwaram, where I live, and we used to call ourselves the glamorous garbage girls, the 3 Gs, talking about the 3 Rs, the reduce, reuse, and recycle. So we used to call ourselves that, and we had fun talking. We were excited about talking about the different aspects of garbage, what is trash all about. It is end of use to us, but there's so much resource that's getting lost because the way we trash it. So best is to look at trash, not generate anything that we can't manage, and start looking at a low waste lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I really like the 3 Gs to the 3 Rs, right? That is fantastic. Are the 3 Gs still there? Is it that group is still existing?
We're
Yes?
always there. We are always there supporting
Has it
each other.
grown?
I think we have it's grown into in a city-wide movement, and it's already moving into other spaces. So it's no more Malleshwaram or
Yeah.
Bangalore centric. It is moving out of Bangalore. Telangana has taken it very well. There are other in Karnataka itself, there are other cities and towns doing a lot of work around waste and trying to make sure that it is decentralized, that people take responsibility, that you don't pollute the environment, but actually send it to recycling, which is a huge informal sector depends on recycling, clean recyclables.
Yeah.
So I think we have achieved the purpose of glamorizing it and bringing it to the drawing room conversation. And now it's on air also.
Yeah, has to be, right? So when you talk about garbage, right, I've seen that at least when I was a kid, I've seen that the waste collectors who come, they collect all of it together. But now there's a shift where you have the wet waste and you have the dry waste, right? But I don't see this happening in all the areas, because I live in Rajarajeshwari Nagar, but if my grandparents live in JP Nagar, but they told me that there's nothing like this. They come, they collect everything together, and I think then they segregate it later, right? So what is the solution to this, and how do we ask the government to make sure that all these things can be a little more simplified for us human beings?
So I think I need to tell all your listeners that we have a 3-way segregation that is mandated by the court, and the entire city of Bangalore has to do it. But the thing is, there is no enforcement. So the 3-way segregation is not just wet and dry. It is wet waste, that is organic matter. It is the dry recyclables. And the third category is the reject waste. You have sanitary waste, you have hazardous waste, you have broken glass, which should not be handled by waste workers, which is, it could be harmful for them. Yeah. So it has to be a separate category altogether. And of course, there is e-waste, which can go back to recycling. So we have different categories of waste. The onus is on the citizen to segregate and make sure that it reaches its destination. Right. Because right now, we don't have a system that aligns with a citizen who is already understanding the importance of segregation. Right. So for that, we need to make sure that it is destination based. If it is collected together or separated and put it into the same vehicle, we don't accept it. We make sure that on our part, we have to get the system going. Right. In our areas. It is local leadership of citizens. It is local movements. It's local groups that can drive this whole thing, because in Bangalore it has been a citizens movement, and SWMRT has pioneered this movement, and it is the leaders that come up in communities that drive this entire program. Because if you ask the municipality to scale it up, it's not happening. They want to, but then a lot of things come into play. So it's not scaling up, or there's no enforcement. So I think it is our primary duty to take all our dry waste to the nearest dry waste collection center, and clean dry waste, collect it for a week, and you can go and drop it off. Compost your kitchen waste at home. So you have reduced 80% of your waste already. And the little that it needs to go as reject can be handed over to the municipality. So I think it is the responsibility. Instead of telling the government should do this, the companies should stop producing plastic. It's why don't we refuse it? Yes. Why don't we refuse anything that is non-recyclable? Recycle everything that is recyclable. When it's given clean, you are feeding into an unorganized sector, which is their livelihood depends on this. So let's also give dignity in that. So there's so many things that you can connect the dots when you see the cause. Ultimate impact of your the way you handle the waste. And then if you don't do that, how positively you can contribute to the environment. Because our ecosystem is so precious, and we are continuously destroying it, polluting it, and what are we leaving behind for our future generations? The earth will survive, the planet will survive. What will get impacted is the life on this planet, and we are not the only creatures. Human beings, there are billion other species that are getting impacted, and we have to be mindful of that.
Absolutely. I think ownership and responsibility is what it is, right? As a citizen, we have to do it and do our bit, not asking like a 100% drastic change, right?
I mean, you don't have to be eco-anxiety about it. Am I doing enough for the environment? It is a path you take, and you evolve to become this person who walks lightly on this planet. It has to be that way.
The footprints that we put, we have to reduce it as much as we can. Now, talking about composting, right? As a beginner, if someone has to start, what would your advice be for them?
Just get excited about it, because if you think it's daunting, you have experienced smell, there could be creepy crawlies, I don't have time, where is the space, all these are the constraints of the mind. When you get excited, those constraints just disappear, and what you're looking at is an experiential learning. So composting is an experiential learning. I think it should be a part of everyday activity. It makes you feel good, because you're holding back 60% of the resources that would have just gone out and gone into a land dump. It would have created methane, which is contributing to the greenhouse gases, and the climate change is coming close to you. So we need to look at that and then get excited about holding that resource back. And it's okay to fail. I feel if people fail like me, you will learn better, because that's what teaches you. When that experiment teaches you, and there's where you get the experience, and then it's just like getting up and brushing your teeth. It's a part of your daily activity. So you really don't have to stress about composting at all. It's okay if you have multiple challenges. Just it will keep teaching you better. You learn patience. You learn that the food that you choose should be with living soil, because compost is putting living soil into these to grow your food. So you can see that everything about you changes. Your lifestyle changes. The powerful choices you make about your own health changes. So I think it's win-win in every way if you compost. Yeah.
Now, honestly, when we were going to school back as kids, we did learn about basics, not very deep into it, but rainwater harvesting, composting, all of this was a part of our curriculum. And back then we also had this, they used to make sure that we plant a few seeds, and all of these activities were there. But from this journey of childhood to adulthood, I think it's lost now, right? Because after school it's gone, forgotten. We don't adapt to it. We don't take it as a responsibility. We just be like, okay, it's done in school. Utna tak hi theek hai, right? So what is, like, how do we change this? How do we change the mindset of the people?
I think even in school, it shouldn't be very academically, introduced. Like any other, you study science, you study social, you study so many things. But in everyday life, it is not any value to you. Right. It's not applicable. It doesn't hold, and you're academically, educated. Right. But in practicality, I think it's the teachers, the way it's introduced. It's practical. It's like hands-on is what stays with you. Right. So if you have experienced holding earthworms when you're a baby, when you're a child in a school, I think that excitement will rest of your life. Yeah. So you have discovered a farmer in you very early, and whenever you find space, time, you would just want to grow your food, because you understood that. So like that, even if children are introduced on how they should recognize that these are resources, how they should recognize that you shouldn't use things and just discard, because you have used resources to make them, and one time use and throw away should not be a part of your life. So it's more about being mindful, how practically they can do it at that stage of their life, which becomes inculcated in their growing. Yeah. Right. So it shouldn't be something very academic. That's what I think. Yeah. It's not a textbook and somebody lecturing you. People find moral science and physical, your environment science so boring. Many people have told it was the most boring class for them, because you're just reading out of text. The teacher has not, even today, when I have done online sessions, I do a lot of online sessions for colleges. The teachers and the students are a part of the session, and the teachers say, what we teach, we have no experience in that. We just teach out of books. And what you're telling, you don't have academic qualification, but the way you're explaining things is making a huge impact to us. I wish we had this experience to teach our children, which they would carry. So I think that's where, how the teacher takes it across
Forward,
what your
yeah.
curriculum is.
Yeah.
We have a book called Trashonomics. It's SWMRT is a part of bringing out that book, and this book is a practical book
Yeah.
where children learn 5 chapters how you value waste.
Waste,
Who
right.
are the waste pickers, what is soil. They learn it through experience and through certain experiments.
Right.
So I think that will stay with them.
Right.
I think we need to do that
Yeah.
in our education system.
It's like more so less of theory, more of practical, right? And if I not just in this subject, I think in everything, life in general, less theory, more practical will make sure that we learn better, right? Now talking about SWMRT, can you tell us what it is and how did it start?
Well, in 2009, I think it just happened that there were a lot of people working in the sector of waste in pockets all over Bangalore. But one event, and we all came together and we thought we should meet often because this is a burning issue. We had huge disasters in Mavalipura, Mandur, where the villagers were protesting from waste getting dumped there.
Right.
And we said no to landfill. And what is the solution? Because that's the problem. Landfill is a problem. The solution is decentralized waste management. And because we were already practicing that in these pockets,
Right.
we thought practitioners should come out and actually start looking at how we can create a campaign where we sensitize citizens and get it as a everyday thing, like every citizen taking responsibility of the waste they generate.
Okay.
So it started like that, and it is a movement.
Right.
It's a citizens movement that has taken 12 years to be who we are today. We are a voice. We are the expert committee
Right.
in the where policies. We do training. We are influencing so many other municipalities to take it on. So I think we have come a long way, and we have stuck together. We have never given up because we believe, because with our practices, we believe it's possible in every citizen.
Every citizen, yeah. And but in school we've read about Chipko movement and all of that. I really hope this movement becomes so big that the entire world knows about it, right? So really hoping for that. And if someone wants to be a part of this, how do we get started?
Well, we get more people asking us, can we join you? The whole thing is start it in your own areas. You cannot do it individually. If you are aligned to a purpose, then you have to be a practitioner first, then influence around, get more people in your neighborhood, because you cannot, there are somebody in some other city, they can't be a part of us. You can be online. You can follow our page, you can look at our website, you have so much resources that you can take from us. But what you need to start is start small, like all of us.
Yeah.
We started in our own apartments, in our own localities, at a small level, created a team and then joined a larger group. So you should do that in your own localities. It starts at individual, very localized. That's what we call it, decentralized. When we came up with this thing called We Care for Malleshwaram, in Malleshwaram, everybody said, oh, we even want to be. I said, if you're not in Malleshwaram, if you're Jayanagar, you start off We Care for Jayanagar. You start off We Care for Basangudi. So you should start something in your own locality.
Right.
That's what, it should be very local, because you cannot scale it up if you don't start from the beginning.
Base.
At the
True.
base at one point.
Yeah. And they say that charity begins at home, right? So just start from your house and then spread the word, right? And if you are wondering how to get started, what is the procedure, just head over to her Instagram and you'll get all the details. I think she's so active on that. So you started this journey and then you were on Instagram, right? Or were you from...
I started this journey and I was on Facebook.
Facebook,
So
okay.
Facebook has the maximum amount of photo documentations I've done.
Okay.
Because there are 300 plus albums
Right.
about
Oh my God.
around the waste, that work we have done around waste,
Right.
the campaigns that we did, the stalls that we set up. So it was always, for me, I don't write much,
Yeah.
nor I read much. I was telling him that.
Okay.
But I love taking out photographs, and with captions I would like, so that's much more powerful than words, I thought.
Yeah.
So I would just caption, and then people would get an understanding in that album. Oh, they did this, they had so much fun, and they are glamorizing garbage. We had
Garbage,
aprons that we would wear. Each apron would depict one item of waste, would pin all the waste around and say, this is paper waste, all these are cardboard, this has to go for recycling. There was another apron which had pockets, transparent pockets,
Right.
all the e-waste used to be there, and we would say, this is e-waste. We had hats in which e-waste was hanging. There was a bulb that we stitched up. So we were just looking at
much
how
fun.
we had a lot of fun. The best part is that's what drove us to believe this so strongly, that you can be someone who is bringing this movement and people are noticing you.
Noticing.
You know, we would do on streets, we would open up all our, you know, we have this huge, my car had in its boot, it had all these things that we would open up, put a table, and, you know, showcase to people what are the different categories of waste, what are the ways that you shouldn't be using, you know, what are the alternatives to the use and throw, you know, what kind of lifestyle that you can have which is low waste, and also how compost can be done. How did these vegetables turn into this amazing blackboard which smells so good? So bring in that excitement, make it glamorous, and, you know, get more and more people to. From Facebook, I moved to Instagram in 2014, I think. I'm not too sure when. It was like I was very low on this, but when the pandemic hit, I can't do too many social media, so I was on Facebook a lot. When I moved to Instagram, it was just one post here and there and all. But during pandemic, I completely stopped Facebook, and I moved here, and I found it so exciting. When the reels were introduced, I don't know how I connected to that. So people ask me, do you do your own? Do you have someone helping you? I'm 61, and I'm not tech savvy, but I've taken to this so comfortably, and because I get excited doing it. I'm learning a lot. I'm opening myself to understand and, you know, explore. So that's been something that I look forward to. You know, so I get up in the morning,
your own videos.
Everything. I have just a tripod, and then I do all that.
Oh my God.
So, I'll give a run for other influencers.
I know, I've seen that. And you learned it, like, how did you learn this?
It's just trying it out. See, the
yeah.
thing is, we learn only when, like composting. I gave it a try, kept trying. So I kept trying to understand. I had my niece with me if I had any doubts about something, because she was excited that I'm going to get 10,000 viewers, 10,000 followers, and she was excited because you get swipe up on stories. I said, what is swipe up? And then she explained to me a swipe up, then you can put a link and this and that, and she said, I'll get you a blue tick. I said, what is that blue tick? She said, that is authentication. I said, okay. So she helped me with all that. So I didn't understand, but then once I started doing more and more, I just became completely self-dependent. You know, many people say, do you have someone who will edit your videos? I said, there's nothing to edit. Insta makes it so easy for you to stitch reels, put good music. I love to put the music that I choose because it takes me back to my teenage when I used to listen to a lot of soft rock and, you know, classic rock and all that. So I just pick and choose what I love because it gives you such a huge selection of music. So it's very exciting for me.
Wow. If you want lessons apart from composting and all of this amazing thing that she's doing, if you want Instagram lessons, then you need to contact her for sure. So what does a typical day in Vani Murthy's life look like?
It's very relaxed. People think I'm doing a lot of things. It's just me and my husband now because kids have moved out, and it's like much. I mean, at this age, I want this where I'm very relaxed. I do my things, he does his things, and we do things together. That's it. So it's like I have a garden. I know every day I cook. I love cooking now because I like to eat healthy food, fresh food. So I come up to the garden to see if there is any harvest that I can, you know, it could dictate my menu. So anything that is ready, I could just take it down and, you know, start cooking. So I make breakfast and lunch and dinner, and it's like I have guests and I have a live or I have a online session. So we do a lot of corporate, SWMR does a lot of corporate sessions. So there would be some kind of online sessions that will be happening. We have opened up now to go and do in person now. So for me, I wake up to be very excited about the day, and my day goes very happy. I'm very restful, no stress. I try not to get stress. I think that's extremely important in today's times. So that's why I don't do collabs much because it's too stressful. They pay you money, but you have to do something, and I just don't want. I do at my own pace, in my own style. So I don't want to be boxed into some thing. So I very rarely do a collab. So that's how I live my life.
It's beautiful. I think when I grow up to be like you, I want a life like this. It's so peaceful, and also you live in an area that is so peaceful, right? That is amazing. Now I want to ask you one thing, that you have such good social media presence now, especially on Instagram, right? And you've built this whole community who look up to you, who take advice from you, and try to do things that you are doing. So, do you feel that it's like a huge responsibility now that you're on social media, that you're doing so much and putting the message out there, people learning from you? What do you think about that?
For me, it's very organic. Everything is very natural. The thing is, I have now very clearly understood that it's very powerful media. Right. Social media is extremely powerful, and if you're connected to the right cause and you're talking things out of experience, it translates, because that's where the authenticity comes. I'm not doing anything that is trendy, and I'm still stuck and doing the same things over and over for 12 years. I talk about composting all the time. I talk about refusing. It's like I'm not stressed about being responsible, because the only thing that I feel lack of is that I'm not able to respond to people. It becomes a little stressful, and I don't want to do it. People can already Google search if they want to understand something, and I think with less time, what I explain is enough for you to tweak somebody's sensibilities, and probably they would be on the fence, would jump that side. Who are not on the fence still could jump onto the fence, and wait for another that moment where they can trigger, which triggers them to actually, why not, I can do. So it's, for me, my whole purpose on Instagram is to trigger that trigger that little curiosity in the people. Yes, this is a lifestyle that when she talks all the time about it, so it shouldn't be too exhausting. It shouldn't be too difficult. It's not too much shift, and you can do it slowly. You don't have to be a zero waste, because I don't even believe there is a zero waste. It is about a journey towards zero waste, which is unattainable. Except us, we cannot attain it as human beings, but every other creature is born zero waste and dies zero waste. Right. They don't generate anything that the earth can't digest. Right. Just imagine billion species are living like that in this natural world, like the planet. But we are the only ones who cannot be zero waste. So you can't attain zero waste. So don't look towards becoming a zero waste and stress yourself and have that eco-anxiety. Just chill, take one practice at a time. Make sure that practice become is a habit to the rest of your life. It's not a trend or somebody told you and everybody is doing it, let me do, and then you get exhausted because it's too much of a strain, because you're not opened your mind about it. So I think all these are the things that you need to be little. So that's the whole thing, and I do it organically. I don't plan what I need. Suddenly I'll feel like I'll shoot something that I'm cooking. I'll do it. If I bring my waste up, and my phone is always with me, and I'm putting it in 100 videos I've done where I'm putting my waste into my compost bin, but I'll still do it. I never get tired talking about it, and I feel there will be some new people doing it. And even people who are like my sisters, they all compost. And for the longest time, every time they see my post, they used to feel guilty. Really? So I brought that guilt factor in people, and I'm glad, because at least they made them, so they started composting. So it is like that, my purpose is not to make people feel. I want people to be excited. That's all. Absolutely. Because I have that excitement, and I want everybody to be excited about doing something for this beautiful planet. This is a beautiful ecosystem that needs to thrive, not get destroyed. So keeping all this in mind, because soil health is directly your health. The soil bacteria, the living creatures is directly connected to your gut bacteria. So the more we sanitize ourselves, the more we try to keep away from being part of nature, I think we are going to have a very depleted system within also. So you can all connect the dots. In this conversation, you can all connect the dots and just see what is the purpose of our living. It's not just earning money and living a wealthy life or happy life. Happy life means you are connected to certain causes. You know that you're living in as a part of this ecosystem.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, it's smaller steps for a larger goal, right? And it's not going to be attained overnight or in 1 month or 2 months. It's a long journey, and we just have to be excited about it. Now that the festive season is upon us, I honestly feel like, especially in Diwali, in festive season generally, there is so much waste generated, right? More than the normal days. And what is your take on this? I'm sure you also love celebrating festivals with your family and all of that. But how do we reduce the waste generation during festive season?
So I think I celebrate every day as a festival. So I don't have a particular... yes, Diwali is a big festival. Definitely we all need to celebrate. It is about being together. But always trying to be mindful and conscious of the environment. How are we impacting by our celebrations? Whether it's Diwali, it's a birthday party, it's a wedding, it's a function in your house, it's a puja, whatever it is, we have to be mindful of what we are generating and how it is polluting. Because you could be burning crackers, but what is the air quality that happens after we burn? So we need to be mindful of that. And afterwards, the litter that is there, where does it go? It can't just disappear. There's so much chemicals in it. It'll enter the water body. It could enter the soil, which is growing your food. It could enter the environment. It gets burnt.
Right.
It's already burnt. So you have to be mindful of that. Be a little more eco-friendly. Make sure today there is no everybody is talking about being eco-friendly. So you go on to social media, you will know, you can pick up tricks and different about gifting. Don't put those wrappers which are shiny. Do a cloth wrapper. Old chuni, you can cut in. Reuse something. And gift things that are more sustainable. Exactly. Sustainable gifting can be done. When you buy your sweets, take your own box and bring them instead of having a packaged one. You can gift people in a lovely glass, and put those sweets and gift the glass which they can use again. So that you're not putting in a cardboard box. So I think small things can make a big difference. It'll make a big difference to yourself because you feel so good about it. So buying clothes, stop buying anything that is which is fast fashion. Buying clothes for everybody at home. Buy handloom. Buy something that is ethically grown and sourced. I think all these are small shifts we can do, and of course we should stop eating too many sweets. We are killing our metabolism. I've realized for the past 6 months, I have realized how important it is to keep our sugars away from us. So eat date-based, nut laddus, things that are not intense.
Things that are organic, basically.
Maybe you can grab one or two, but Diwali is like, I'll indulge and eat so much of sugar, and then you are kicking up all your glucose levels, and then the body needs to regularize it. It has to regulate it, and you're putting so much stress on the body, and you don't realize. And when you grow old, then you'll realize that you have ended up with all kinds of problems, and then you depend on doctors and medicines. Medicines are not the cure. They're not the solution. It is about your lifestyle. So.
Absolutely, I think we need to take up all this. Now, talking about fast fashion, right? You see, I'm no one to comment, but the younger generation, right, who call themselves the Gen Z or the millennials, for that matter, they are like fully into fast fashion. They want to keep up with the trend. They want to keep up with all the fashion because they are inspired by actors and Bollywood and Hollywood and all of that, right? Models, absolutely. So how do we influence them? How do we change their mindset? And as you mentioned, handloom and chicken curry, all this authentic stuff, right? How do we promote that? Because we don't see people using it as often as your generation using it, right?
The only way you can sensitize is to understand how polluting that industry is. See, that's the only thing that you need to know, that fast fashion and synthetic material fabrics are highly polluting. If you see in the world, that's the number one polluting industry. And if we can just understand that and not feed into that and say, I will not contribute to that pollution, then hold back your desire to have too many clothes. Have things that you can use for a long time and not just be a part of a trend. Be very proud to wear something that you wore 10 years back. Repurpose, repair. That's how we grew up. I think we were all so sustainable 20, 30 years back because we always repaired. I remember, I keep telling people that we were 4 daughters. My dad was a middle income sole earner. We had a granny and a mother, so we had 6 women at home. And my father, our uniforms, after 2 years it would fade, so he would reverse and stitch it. The inner part will be dark in color, so he would remove all the stitches and reverse and stitch. That is the way we grew up, and we had no shame in that. Absolutely. I'm not asking people to do that, but I think sustainability and be mindful is about having something for a long time,
Right.
not single use. Anything that is used for a short while, for one time while, should be something that we should completely
Avoid.
go a war against.
Yeah,
I would say we should all go on a war against, because that's where the pollution happens.
Absolutely true. You know, even I've seen my grandparents and my parents also. My clothes when I was younger, that it's still there because my sister uses it, and they've even kept it so that my children can use it.
Absolutely. That's so much joy.
So much
I mean,
joy,
we all receive clothes from cousins, and now, even now there are grandkids being born in my family, and they're all holding back to give to the next
generation,
and everything, right from cloth diapers, everything is being held back, washed and kept clean, so that it can be handed over. So I think that is amazing that you're not discarding things very soon after use, and that's a great lifestyle to be in, and you should be very proud of it, and you should be talking about it, so that you get more people to understand that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, last but not the least, coming to your new venture, you are on Discovery Plus, the show, right? How did that happen? How did they approach you? And I mean, I'm sure you're super excited. Is this your first time on TV?
No, I've been on TV many times. Nat Geo had featured me, and after the Nat Geo, then the Discovery came, and they said they are doing a series about people Journey of India across, and we would like to come and shoot, and they came and shot. I had no idea.
They shot here?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They always come to my home and shoot with my worms and with my plants and everything at home, because I have a living system here.
Yes.
And it is great to be a part of such a documentary. It's on Discovery Plus, and the season 1, I'm on the episode 2. It's a small part, 4-5 minutes, and it just shows my journey in being this person who has taken responsibility of being this way. So it's exciting. You have Amitabh Bachchan introducing Rana, and it's so nice that you're a part of a huge. I mean, it's amazing. The series are shot brilliantly, and the way they have told it as a story. It's very nice. It's more and more people should watch it. So catch me on Discovery Plus. Yes.
Absolutely. You might say that it's just 4 to 5 minutes, but even that small time will make a huge impact for everyone, right? So, happy Diwali to you. It was so nice to talk to you, ma'am. Honestly, I think we've got so much insight as to how to live a sustainable life and just be yourself and contribute to the environment. At the end of the day, it's about that, right? It's not about how much money we make, how much we travel, or how much luxurious things we have. It's about how we take care of ourselves and the environment. Any last advice to all our viewers and listeners?
Thank you, first of all, Sheetal and Fever, for doing this. My only advice is, live a life that's very mindful and conscious, because that's how you tread very carefully on this beautiful planet. This planet needs people who nurture her, not destroy her, because every act that has an impact to destruction you have contributed, you need to remove yourself from that.